The storm is coming. The Imperial throne lies empty. The scent of war swirls in the air. Evil awakens. A long-vanished foe stirs. Those who would destroy Tamriel seek out dangers to their dark plot. It is the 582nd year of the Second Era. The drums of war are sounding. This is where our journey begins.
You there! The Ivory Brigade has need of you. You look like you've got your wits about you. Care to make a bit of extra gold working for Leowin's Ivory Brigade? I've been asked by my captain to find someone who can handle themselves. We need help with a delicate situation. Deadly secrets, assassins, murder. Now apparently a counselor has gone missing. Between the war, bandits, and cultists, the Ivory Brigade is like the Nord that tries to plug a leaking cask of mead, only to realize he doesn't have enough fingers. Talk to my commander, Captain Rian Lior. You can find him just outside the city gates, trying to appease some of the nobles. Tell him I sent you, and he'll put you right to work, I'm sure.
You have my word. If the Counselor is in Leowin or the surrounding countryside, the Ivory Brigade will find her. You there! A moment of your time, please. Not now, citizen. Can't you see I have my hands full at the moment? I'm sure a guard or one of my brigadines can assist you. Interesting. She arrived a short time ago with a tale straight out of a mystery novel. She said that Emperor Leovic's former steward had been murdered by the Dark Brotherhood, killed over some secret pertaining to the Longhouse Emperors. She apparently has been investigating this so-called Longhouse Emperor secret for a while now. She approached Counselor Leviticus with news of the murder, and evidence to suggest the rest of the Elder Council were in danger. Counselor Leviticus has kept her close, while the two of them try to make sense of this so-called secret. I have yet to be made privy to the details. With Jiric's disappearance, I'll send Everly to check places the Counselor frequents in the city. Not now, citizen. Can't you see I have my hands full at the moment? I'm sure a guard or one of my brigadines can assist you. Why didn't you say so? Leowin's problems are legion, and now the Wood Elf Archer's predictions seem to be coming true. Damn these old Imperial secrets. Councillor Jirik has disappeared, and the Ivory Brigade is already spread too thin for my liking. The Wood Elf, Everly Sharparrow. She brought news that the Dark Brotherhood was targeting members of the Elder Council, all because of some secret of the Longhouse Emperors. We took her warning seriously, but Jirik refused Brigadine protection. With that guild of assassins, I'm not sure what to think. But Jirik is missing, and I don't have enough Brigadines at the ready to conduct a proper search. You look capable. So, care to earn some gold and help us determine the Councilor's fate? Here, let me update your map. These are places Jirik visits during her daily routine. If something befell her, it happened somewhere along this path. Meanwhile, I have Everly Sharparrow checking locations in the city. She was very eager to help. Councillor Jirik was a member of the Imperial Elder Council, back when we still had an empire. Now her title is mostly ceremonial, but she continues to assist the legates by serving as an intermediary with the local nobility. Since the collapse of the Empire and the dissolution of the Elder Council, Leowin has become an independent city-state. Countess Caro sits on the throne, but the Chamber of Legates governs the city. I suppose the Countess is technically the highest authority in Leowin, but she leaves the administration of the city to the Chamber of Legates. Leviticus, another former council elder, leads this august body, along with Tebezako and Amhalu. Councillor Jirik is a creature of habit. Her daily routine is to stroll along the river and stop to read near a cave across the way. While Everly Sharparrow examines spots the Councilor frequents in the city, you should check these locations. On paper, Countess Caro rules Leowin, but in practice, the Chamber of Legates governs the city. Legates Tebezako and Amhalu, and Councillor Leviticus. They handle day-to-day tasks. Me? I'm commander of the Ivory Brigade, Leowin's militia. Indeed. Since the fall of the Empire, the Ivory Brigade had to redouble its efforts to replace the Imperial legions. We maintain active defenses in the north to keep the ongoing war at bay, but we have our hands full with refugees, bandits, and such. The Three Banners War. Let the alliances fight over the Ruby Throne as long as they leave us in peace. I just wish I had more soldiers to spare for this new threat that Everly Sharparrow brought to our attention.
look about you. Some sort of quality that's rare to find. And trust me, I'm never wrong about these sort of things. Can I interest you in a room at the local inn? Actually, wait, that came out wrong. Look, empty rooms are just bad for business. The upkeep alone costs me more than the place is worth. But I think we can come to a sort of arrangement. And not the sort of arrangement that involves a few drinks, let me be clear about that. I need someone to improve the reputation of my properties. A hero type who people look up to. And I have a feeling about you. You've done something great and are probably on the way to do something greater. Seems like we can help each other here. Yeah, all right. Details. I can see how this might be a bit sketchy, but don't worry. The inn room is well kept, conveniently located. I know you adventuring types wanting a home in every town. This would be a nice addition to your holdings. No catch. I just need someone to freshen up my image. And my gut tells me you're the one to do that. As long as you're not planning on turning it into a skooma den or an outlaw's refuge, the room is all yours. Oh, sure. You can set up some crafting stations, house your pets, display any treasures or trophies you've come upon in your adventures. Hey, you can even set up a target dummy to practice combat. Just don't demolish the place and we're good. Excellent. You won't regret this decision, I swear. Here's the deed and key to the room. Took me a while, but I finally was able to take them back from the last tenant. Required more time in the sewers than I had hoped for, but hey, that's business. Hope the room is to your liking. With your reputation, I'm sure you shouldn't have any trouble with the neighbors. If you do, remember death threats are not the way to go. Had a spot of trouble when my last tenant started sending those out. Nope, just make yourself at home. Spruce things up a bit. Honestly, I can't wait to see how you arrange the place. Hopefully you'll end up with a few less Daedric shrines than another former tenant of mine. Like 0. 0's a good number. Oh, what a relief. I can't tell you how hard it is to wash bloodstains off of cobble floors. But that's not even the worst of it. I've had tenants cram their rooms with the wildest things. Mounts, foliage, assistants. I mean, it's an inn room. I own this and several other properties throughout Tamriel. It pays to diversify. Of course, that means I've got to look out for a variety of troubles, too. But hey, no one ever said the real estate business was easy.
Golden goblets overflow with wine. A sultry dancer with eyes so fine. A circlet of rubies crowned.
Over here, Rockgrove begs for your aid. I open my claws in humility, Wanderer. Please, stay to hear my story. Have you heard of the Soulzon tribe? Vicious and unrelenting, they wander to the swamps, attacking any they find. Now, they've fallen upon my home in Rockgrove. A horde of those impure Limphins raided the old city and seized the Zanmir. They captured so many of my kin, or returned them to darkness. Their purpose hides from us. But our Stone Talker claims he recognized their leader, Basse. With a stiff tail and bared abdomen, I beg for your aid. Please, gather a force of your strongest allies. Travel to Rockgrove and drive out the Soulzon. Defend what is left of my tribe, and they will surely reward you. My gratitude fills every pond in the marshes. Perhaps with your aid, what remains of my home can be salvaged. Rockgrove lies southeast of here, or you may take my cart. Speak to Immaka when you arrive. She can offer you the necessary guidance. We heard rumors of Soulzon crawling through the marsh, but thought perhaps they might spare us. Foolish. The attack was swift and ruthless. Our warriors held them off, while some escaped and rallied at the city entrance. Their goals hide among the worms they call friends. I know little of Soulzon desires, and had hoped never to learn. Stories drift to me about brutal sacrifices, bloodshed for the glory of chaos. But who can know the truth? Ah, perhaps you have not traveled that far south. The old city is a sight to behold. The finest mud puddles in this region, and the stonework amazes any who visit. Most of us live in a village just outside, so that we can keep an eye on the Zanmir. It stands upon large vents of scalding steam that occasionally burst into large geysers. It's a rare occurrence, but they can threaten the structures of the Zanmir. Some of us work to keep it intact when an eruption damages the stone. One of our village guards, though now she may be our sole remaining defender. She protected us as we ran from the initial attack. After we found safe haven, she sent me to call for aid. Dust on scales, the sinew and veins of our tribe. He serves as conduit between the Hist and Rockgrove Zanmir. He knows a great deal about the old city's secrets. You should seek out his guidance.
Pardon me, you're not the counselor. Apologies. I heard you stumbling about and thought it might be Counselor Jirik. Oh, no one important, I assure you. I'm simply one of the counselor's aides. I help her with paperwork mostly. Run errands, that sort of thing. She initially refused the captain's offer, but she received a letter that made her uneasy. Last I saw, she was headed back to the city by way of the Eastern Gate. But she never returned to her manor, so I came to look for her. Please, find her.
Someone! Anyone! Help me! I refused to believe, but Farrell, Leviticus, they were right. I was attacked. An assassin. You must warn the others, the counselors. Leovik's secret, it will be the death of us all!
Counselor Jirik! Damn, we're too late! Damn it, I'm too late. Poor Counselor Jirik. She didn't deserve to die like that. At least I don't think she did. Glad to see you, by the way. Did you happen to get here in time to see who killed her? The mark of the Dark Brotherhood. Just like with Farrell Lupus. Sorry. I'm working for Counselor Leviticus, the head of the Chamber of Legates. I came to Leowin to warn him after I stumbled across some secret concerning the Longhouse Emperors. It relates to something called the 4 Ambitions of Mehrunes Dagon. I think they're Daedric weapons, but I'm still puzzling that out. I was working for Farrell Lupus before he was murdered. Found a strange tome with Daedric markings at his behest. Yeah, that's what brought me here. I found a list of names. Farrell Lupus and members of the Elder Council. It said they all knew something about this secret. Since Farrell was murdered, I figured the others were in danger too. Looks like I was right. Let me have your map. I'll mark where Councillors Valeria and Sophis were last seen. Go warn them, convince them to take precautions. Then meet me at Counselor Jirik's manor in the city. Maybe we can find something to shed more light on this secret. I'll get the city guards to come and gather the Councillor's body. She shouldn't just be left out here. Then I'll head to Counselor Jirik's manor. When you're done checking on Counselor Valeria and Counselor Sophis, meet me there. Like I said, it all started when I found that strange tome for Farrell Lupus, and Emperor Leovik's journal. It was in code, but I got it translated. Sent me to a few hidden Imperial caches where I learned that the Longhouse Emperors had a secret. Right, but it turned out I wasn't the only one trying to learn more about the ambitions. A group of cracked acorns called the Order of the Waking Flame. Fanatic Mehrunes Dagon cultists. Had to put arrows in more than one of those bastards. I guess someone hired them to eliminate everyone who knows about the secret. The question is, who? And I was told by a more or less friendly Dremora named Lyrinth that the fate of our world was at stake. So of course I want to figure this all out. So Farrell Lupus hired me to retrieve a book from a retreat once used by the Longhouse Emperors. He never told me what it was, and he died before I could ask. The book is weird. It has weird pages and weird markings, and I can't read a word of it. Not much. Farrell's partner said he planned to use it to make things right, but she didn't know how. And it's Daedric, I think. I will say, carrying it, it's kind of a burden. And I've been having strange dreams. But I don't want to talk about that. Oh, I'm still trying to make a name for myself. I was green as a blade of grass when we met in Orsinium. Now I've got a few more adventures under my belt. But I've never dealt with anything quite like this. This is more than I bargained for.
Nobody comes out of Crypt of Hearts alive. Nobody. How'd you do it? You look like a hardy soul, unconcerned with the prospect of death by trick, trap, or misadventure. How do you feel about helping a defenseless scholar from Gideon unearth a little history from Undertow Cavern? Oh, and can you swim? Have you heard of Phaelivon the Magnificent? He was a famous Nibonese Minotaur hunter, but his final resting place was lost to time. After years of searching, I think I finally found the site of Phaelivon's mausoleum. I hope to recover proof that this is Phaelivon's tomb. His armor, helm, and sword would do nicely. But I didn't get far before I found the cavern overrun with goblins and minotaurs, and parts of it are flooded. I'll pay you well to help me. No one in Leowyn realizes that Undertow Cavern is the final resting place of a great hero. Let me secure my belongings and I'll meet you inside. Time to grab the bull by the horns and wade right in. I found accounts of Phaelivon's burial in a shining mausoleum on a hill outside Leowyn. He was laid to rest with his arms and armor, relics of his many victories. This is the place, but goblins infest the caverns, and minotaurs too. You would be, I suppose. Well, Phaelivon the Magnificent had a golden helm. He wore armor of impervious mail, and he wielded a sword of exceptional sharpness. The stories say that Phaelivon had the most beautiful mail, impervious to sword, arrow, and spear. We don't know much about armor of his era, but he was known as the Magnificent. I can only surmise his armor was quite splendid. Phaelivon's sword was so sharp, it was said to be able to cut the air itself. No, that isn't right. I suppose any sword will cut air. Ah, that's it. This one could cut through armor like air. That's what I was told. As I understand it, the helm was a gift from the Lord of Leowyn in gratitude for Phaelivon's many heroic deeds in Blackwood. The stories say it was fashioned in the shape of a roaring dragon's face. Well, it has been many hundreds of years. I suppose Phaelivon's arms and armor might not be much to look at now, but in any condition they would be of immense historical value. I simply know it. I suppose goblins aren't much of a surprise. They infest many caves in this region, although I had hoped I wouldn't run into any. The minotaurs I didn't expect. None have been seen so close to Leowyn in centuries. That's the very question I was wondering about. Wherever they came from, these minotaurs seem very hostile. Enraged, even. I've heard all kinds of fighting inside. I think they're angry at the goblins. Do minotaurs and goblins get along? That's because it was swallowed by the earth. One night, 700 years ago, people living nearby heard a terrible sound. When they came to look in the morning, they found that the whole mausoleum had fallen into the caves underneath the hill. Because the caves beneath this hill were the site of Phaelivon's last and greatest battle. The mausoleum was a monument to his victory, as well as his tomb. Until Undertow Cavern swallowed it up anyway. Just the sort of place goblins love. Darksome, dank, and foul. His armor shone by the light of moons or sun. It's just too bad Minotaurs are enraged by shiny objects. I can just picture this sword cleaving savage minotaurs. A pity it's dull beyond use now. Imagine how many times this helm saved the heroic Phalavon's head! Except that last time, obviously. The armor, helm, and sword are all badly damaged. Skeptics might say these could have belonged to anybody. We need to find Phalavon's Horn of Magnificence to settle the question for good. But where is the horn? Why isn't it here? Phalavon's Horn of Magnificence was his greatest treasure. My grandmother told me he made it from the horn of a Minotaur lord. It had a brass cap inscribed with an intricate design. When Phalavon blew it, echoes rang from the hills for 7 days. I am. Mostly. But yes, I have a personal stake in this. Phalavon is a distant ancestor. I grew up on stories of his battles, his magic horn. Oh, could this be about the horn? Grandmother told me the horn's note drove Minotaurs mad with fear and rage. But sometimes the horn called Minotaurs to battle even when no one sounded it. Maybe the Minotaurs are here because of the Horn of Magnificence. Oh, I wondered about that too. House Vero mostly died out long ago, but they were certainly real enough. We can trace a relationship to Phalavon's line on my mother's side. There is truth to my grandmother's tales. I'm certain of it. No. No one outside my family remembers Phalavon. Almost all of the histories that recorded his deeds have been lost. Even his mausoleum vanished. But now I'm close to the proof that Phalavon really existed, and was a great hero. Did you hear that? Phalavon's horn! I'm sure I heard the horn in this chamber. But who sounded it? Balavan's horn! Just as the stories described it. Did this goblin sound the note we heard? It looks like we can get out through here, if you don't mind getting a little wet. Finally, proof of Phalavon's legend! I'll be the talk of Gideon once I bring these trophies home. And yet, I wonder, did the goblins here cause their own troubles by meddling with Phalavon's horn? Or is it dangerous to just keep around? I want to take them back to Gideon and prove, once and for all, that my family's story is true. Fame, fortune, festivities await! But if these relics, especially the Horn of Magnificence, are dangerous, perhaps I shouldn't bring them home. You're right. Phalavon's magnificence deserves to be remembered far and wide. I'll take these historical relics to Gideon and prove the truth of my family's old legends. Thank you for your encouragement. We may be bruised, battered, and wet, but these relics tell a magnificent story. Without your help, I'd never have learned about the fate of Phalavon and the Horn. Thank you. Oh, I shouldn't forget your pay. Visit me in Gideon sometime. I hope to see you again sometime. Although I must confess, now that I've finally found evidence supporting the legend of Phalavon, I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do next. Don't worry about me. I shall set out at once, and I shall neither fear, fret, nor flinch from any dangers on my road. After all, I share the bloodline of a great hero. A few generations removed, anyway.
We weren't expecting visitors. Are you here to see the counselor? Are you here to speak with Counselor Sophis? I'm afraid my husband has taken our dog for a walk. Is there something I could help you with, perhaps? Danger? What are you talking about? Does this have something to do with that letter? And who are you, by the way? Captain Rianne? I see. Well, if the Ivory Brigade sent you, my husband likes to walk our dog Chero along the tree line. Go on and find him. I'll wait here in case he returns. My husband, Valen, received a letter from an old friend this morning. Farrell Lupus, Emperor Leovic's steward. I could see that whatever was in that letter upset him, but he didn't want to discuss it, and I didn't push him. Now please, go find him. What's taking you so long? They should...
Valen! No! Oh, Valen! Oh, my love! What happened? I thought Captain Rihan sent you to protect my husband! You know, Valen acted strange after the letter from Farrell Lupus arrived. He didn't tell me what it said, and I never asked. Before he left today, he gave me a sealed scroll, said to give it to Counselor Leviticus if anything ever happened to him. A scroll, sealed and bearing my husband's stamp. Take it. Give it to Counselor Leviticus. I hope it helps catch whoever murdered my husband. I'll summon the town guard. They'll help me with my husband.
stay alert. I have it on good authority that I'm in danger.
Of course, Counselor.
Step back and state your business. I have every reason to believe that my life is in danger. If you so much as make a threatening gesture, the Brigandine will dismember you. He has very strict orders on that regard. I was beginning to suspect as much. Very well. Tell me everything that you have learned. Leave nothing out. I want to hear it all. Lupus, Emperor Leovik's old steward? And Jirik as well? Gods, they are targeting the Elder Council. Anything else? Tell me. The slightest detail could mean the difference between life and death. The ambitions? I heard that term once before, years ago. I must go to Tidewater Cave. I have a cache hidden there, and I need to check my records. Meanwhile, I suggest you find Jirik's files. She kept them in a hidden compartment in her nightstand. Possibly. I oversaw the Imperial Treasury, so my records deal with expenditures and collections. I have documents going as far back as Emperor Morikar, possibly even Durkarach, and I know I saw that term someplace. I will see what I can find. Extremely well. We were rivals as well as colleagues on the Elder Council. It was that way between all of the counselors, I suppose. Her death is a tragedy, however. I will miss her.
Just pet the dog. It's harmless. Oh, Tertia, you idiot. No wonder he hasn't... Is there something you want? I'd like to be left alone right now. Body? Ring? Oh, Riemann on high. What's this about? Aloysius wrote this? And he's dead? This makes no sense. Howling? Chicken coops? It was just a mangy mutt. I don't even think it was rabid, let alone... Oh no, Aloysius. You poor fool. He wasn't cursed. He was hallucinating. The toad that Argonian used to ease his pain must have been too strong for him. Aloysius convinced himself he was a werewolf, and he... This is the second worst proposal I've ever had. I was once kidnapped by a crazed Sulzon warlord and offered the heads of my neighbors as a dowry. I'd rather not talk about it. I've had more than a dozen failed engagements in my life. If anyone here is cursed, it's me. But it's not all bad news. Aloysius didn't run off and leave me like half the others. He even gave his life to protect me. I've never had anyone love me that much. Is it wrong that makes me happy? Take this, for delivering my betrothed's last wishes. It was kind of you. I I wonder if the Temple of Mara would marry us posthumously. It was his dying wish, after all. Maybe I should employ a priest of Arche for the ceremony, so he can pass on without regrets? Well, why not? I've had absolutely no luck with the living, and it's what he wanted. I'd rather die a widow than an old maid. It's not like this is how I dreamed of getting married, but after being jilted so many times, I may as well marry a man who can't change his mind. You may not get it, but for your sake, I hope you never have to.
Too much to do and too little time.
Oh, hey! Over here! I'm glad you're here. I've been searching all over, but I could use your help. This place is huge. Why do rich people need so many rooms? Oh, but tell me, did you warn the counselors like I asked? Sophus is dead? Damn! Was it the Dark Brotherhood? What am I saying? Of course it was! I've torn this place apart, but so far I haven't found anything related to Imperial secrets or the ambitions. Maybe you can spot something I missed. I knew you'd be a help, but I didn't expect you to just have the answer the moment you walked in. Good job! Counselor Jirik's bedroom is upstairs. Let's see if we can find that hidden compartment. Hidden compartment? I love it! I mean, I hate that people have died, but... So, what did you find? Let me see that. That's a code, all right. Some of the other documents I found use something similar. You know, I'm really starting to hate all this secrecy surrounding the ambitions. Good idea. We need to report in to Counselor Leviticus anyway. Let him know what we uncovered. If he has a qualified scribe, great. If not, I know someone. They helped me with those other documents. Let's go to Leowin Castle and talk to Leviticus. I can't help feeling that once we solve the secret of the Longhouse Emperors, we'll know how to stop the Dark Brotherhood from murdering any more of the counselors. I'll see you at the castle.
I need your report, mercenary. Word reached me that Counselor Jirik was murdered. What about Sophus and Valeria? And did you find definitive proof that the Dark Brotherhood is our culprit? That's the Black Hand, symbol of the Dark Brotherhood. I wish Jirik and Sophus had allowed me to assign brigadines to protect them. At least Valeria, however reluctantly, agreed to a military escort. Did you and Everly uncover any other information? It appears that Councillor Leviticus's trust in the Wood Elf was not misplaced. Very well. You and Everly can head in and talk to the Councillor.
I'm off duty.
Captain Rian and the Ivory Brigade will deal with the Dark Brotherhood. We're perfectly safe in here.
You're
You must be the mercenary that Captain Rian told me about.
no longer able
And I see you're working with Everly Sharparrow. Good. Good. I assume you have something to report. I'm listening. Damn it all to oblivion and back. I should have taken Pharaoh Lupus more seriously when I received his letter. This is definitely the mark of the Dark Brotherhood. Anything else to add to this? Yes, that's the Longhouse Emperor's code. Only a handful of Imperial scribes can decipher it. I know one. Baragon. I'll send for him at once. Meanwhile, we must warn the remaining counselors on the list. Eibor, Valeria, Itinia, and Vandacia. Very good. I've sent messages to Itinia and Vandacia already, as neither of them are currently within Leowin's jurisdiction. I need you to go to Fort Blueblood. Councillor Eibor has taken refuge there, but I'd prefer to have her here in Leowin. Everything we do now must be swift if we are to get ahead of this. Go to Fort Blueblood and convince Councillor Eibor to return to the city. She'll be safer here than at the fort. Sadly, no. Whatever Leovic confided in Pharaoh Lupus and the others, whatever he ordered them to do, he kept it a complete secret from me. I suppose he assumed I wouldn't go along with anything illegal or Daedric, and he was right. I was, but the Elder Council was made up of almost 24 counselors. According to the list Everly Sharparrow brought me, only 7 counselors were privy to this secret. Make that 6. I have no idea why Leovic listed me among that group. Who knows what was going through Leovic's head when he wrote that entry in his journal? Varen and his rebels were literally pounding at the doors of the palace at the time. And Leovic wasn't totally in his right mind even before the rebellion. The Longhouse Emperors were Reachmen, who seized control of the Empire and ruled for some 40 years. Dukarach the Black Drake founded the ruling house. Morikar ascended to the throne after his father's death, and his son Leovic followed him. Leovic made a mistake. When he decided to declare Daedra worship as the law of the land, Duke Varen Aquilarios objected. He led a rebellion and personally dispatched Leovic in the Imperial throne room. Thus ended the Longhouse Emperor's reign. Unfortunately, no. Varen disappeared a few years later and the Empire collapsed. Now the so-called alliances are fighting over the scraps and Tamriel is in shambles. We're doing all we can just to keep Blackwood safe and secure. Eibor has always had an affinity for the Imperial military. When she received her letter of warning from Pharaoh Lupus, she sent word to me, told me she was going to the fort, that the soldiers would protect her. I fear she is badly mistaken. Only a token force of brigadines guards Fort Blueblood. If the Dark Brotherhood is truly our enemy, I fear a lone assassin can bypass the fort's defenses with relative ease. Eibor would be better off here in the castle. Go and bring her back at once.
Fort Blueblood? That's to the east across the river. I'll meet you there. Look, Councillor Leviticus and Captain Ryan sent me. I need to see Councillor Abor now.
And what about my sister? She hasn't been seen since she took the Councillor her meal.
Councillor Abor was very clear about this. She doesn't want to be disturbed.
Commander Orton won't listen.
Oh, another mercenary. Is our Ivory Brigade so enfeebled that Captain Ryan must resort to hiring sellswords? Look, as I told the Wood Elf, Councillor Abor was quite insistent. She doesn't want to be disturbed. All right, enough. I can see when I'm being overruled. Very well. I give you permission to enter the watchtower. Councillor Abor's safety is now in your hands. Lurius? Oh, something about his sister. She's another servant here at the fort. Works in the kitchen, I believe. Apparently, she brought the Councillor her meal. He says she never returned, but the servants look for any opportunity to sneak off. The Councillor demanded we protect her. Said her life was in danger, but refused to give me any details. Imperial confidentiality, she insisted, above my station. I put her up in the watchtower, and assigned a couple of brigadines to guard her.
Councillor Abor's been murdered! But where's the servant? The Dark Brotherhood's calling card. Of course they tore out the pages and took them, just when we were so close to finding out more about the Abor's meal is still warm. So what happened to the servant that delivered it? We have a door locked from the outside, a dead counselor, and a missing servant. Did the assassin take off with both the torn-out journal pages and the servant? Anyway, they not only murdered Abor, they probably know how to find the ambitions now. See that rope hanging from the top of the tower? Bet my bottom acorn that's how the assassin got in and out. But the missing servant... something about that is knocking on the back of my head. And why would the Dark Brotherhood take those pages? Maybe. But everything I've read about the Dark Brotherhood never suggested they would be interested in weapons of war, if that's even what the ambitions are. Damn it, we're loosing arrows in the dark here. Let's tell Commander Orton about Eibor.
So, will Counselor Eibor be returning with you to Leowin? Am I finally going to be able to get my fort back in order? Murdered? Gods, keep your voice down. Do you want to start a panic? Tell me what you found in the watchtower. Let me see that. A black handprint. The sign of the Dark Brotherhood. But where is the servant, Thales? Is she involved in this fiasco? And how did she and the assassin get out of the watchtower? My brigadiers never left their post. Well, that explains some of it, but not all. We need to locate Thales. Since you're already involved in working for Captain Rian, I want you to quietly try to find Thales. Start by talking to the other servants in the kitchen and dining hall.
Your sister is fine. This one is certain.
Then where could she be? She would never neglect her duties.
Probably found a dark corner and someone to snuggle with. This one does that all the time. Pleasant days, visitors. How can this one assist you? Ah, Thales. She worries her brother so. She asked me where we kept the hot root flakes. Counselor Eibor sprinkles them on every dish. I told her they are in the pantry, but you need the key from the kitchen to unlock the door.
All right, grab a broom and start sweeping.
What? No, that's Thales' job.
And do you see Thales anywhere? No. Then start sweeping.
Another new face in the fort? First Counselor Eibor, now you and that cute wood elf. Look, I'd love to chat, but Thales has wandered off and left me to handle her chores. She took the Counselor her meal and hasn't returned. Did you check the watchtower? Eibor's a little old, but maybe Thales decided to improve her station, if you catch my meaning. Eibor reeks of fear. Maybe Thales finds that attractive. Well, she's been acting like a frightened guar since she arrived. Stays locked up in the watchtower. Only lets a single servant in at a time. And I hear she's been burning papers. Documents of some kind. She's scared out of her wits, if you ask me.
The servants come to the kitchen to mutter and gossip. This one will not have it. Misaba asks that you do not distract them overly long, as they are already naturally lazy. What is it that you need? That young woman. She has not returned from the watchtower, so her chores remain undone. And she took the pantry key with her when she went. It is no longer hanging on its hook. That is a clear violation of the kitchen rules. A clear violation. The pantry is in the cellar, but the door is around the side of the building. Thales mumbled something about how the counselor loves hot root flakes, grabbed the key and the tray of food and went off. This one hasn't seen her since.
Before we check the pantry, let's talk. So, what did we learn? Counselor Eibor was frightened, but that's understandable. Interesting that she was burning documents. Her journal indicated that she knew more than the others. And Therese visited the pantry before heading to the watchtower. Couldn't hurt. And every mystery novel I ever read taught me you should always follow up on every clue, even the ones that seem insignificant. Let's check the pantry and see if she was looking for more than hot root flakes down there. Is that... Damn it! They murdered Therese too! Why would the Dark Brotherhood murder... Oh no! We need to talk about this! Alright, I think I figured it out. The assassin followed Therese down here, murdered her, and took her place so they could gain access to the watchtower. Pretty clever, but they didn't have to kill her. Right. Very funny. Wait, you're serious? If you're part of this, if you've been trying to save your murdering friends... Ah! All right, we're going back to Leowin. You can walk on your own, or I can drag your dead body behind me. Yeah, I've read that somewhere. But what about the calling cards? The Black Hand is definitely making a statement. Trying too hard to convince us that the Dark Brotherhood is behind the murders. All right, I can see your point. That doesn't change the fact that the remaining counselors are still in danger. We need to warn Counselors Valeria and Vandacia. Right. Report to Commander Orton on your way out. Tell him what happened. Then go check on Counselors Valeria and Vandacia. I need to return to Leowin and consult with Leviticus. But this, between you and I, it isn't over. Remember that. After you report to the commander, make contact with Counselors Valeria and Vandacia. Valeria went to Tidewater Cave to get her records, and Vandacia works in the Gideon Courthouse. Cracked acorns! I suddenly had the weirdest feeling come over me. Yes. No, I don't know. We were talking about the counselors. Valeria and Vandacia. Suddenly I had a premonition. It was brief and disturbing and mildly unpleasant, like the dreams I've been having. But this is the first time while I was awake. Remember I told you about that strange book I found? The one with the Daedric writing that I can't read? I've been having bad dreams since I found it, and the dreams are becoming more frequent. This time it happened right while we were talking. It was just a flash, but it was accompanied by a feeling. I felt a sense of overwhelming evil, all tied up in the figure I saw in my mind. Like someone held a portrait in front of my face for just a moment and then pulled it away. It was one of the Waking Flame cultists, I think. Someone powerful, in command. A dark silhouette wrapped in a cloak. I'll never forget the feeling it invoked. It was like a wave of hopelessness. We can deal with this later. Let's get back to it.
All right. You talked to the fort's servants and rummaged around in our pantry. What's the verdict? Did you find the missing servant? That's... Oh, that's horrible. Are you sure? No. Of course you're sure. No one would lie about something like that. I'll tell her brother what happened and send someone to tend to her body. Gods, what a day this has been.
The mercenary. A few moments later, and you would have found an empty cave. Your timing really is impeccable. We've already packed up my records, and we're about to head out. But what news of the other counselors? Did your warnings reach them in time? All three of them? That's disheartening news. Well, I'll take my records to Del1. Perhaps between the two of us, Counselor Leviticus and I can ascertain what past incident has returned to haunt us. Oh, just a lifetime of public service and bureaucracy. Mostly financial records, but also meeting notes, ledgers, those sorts of things. I oversaw budgets and finances, the collection of taxes, public works. And I kept immaculate records. That's good to hear. Emperor Leovic loved to hide things in coded documents. But what about Counselor Vendacia? Do we know if he's still safe in Gideon? Perfect. Remind him he's too old to play the hero, and I want to see him in Leeuwin Castle immediately, if not sooner. These Brigadines will make sure I get to the city safely. Me and my records, both. Godspeed, mercenary.